Hello again. I'm looking at Home Designer Essentials 2014, and it occurred to me maybe some of you guys actually just go past this and click on New Plan. Let's take a look at the interface here. It says Getting Started. Let's click on that and see what comes up. It opens a web browser, and there's a list of hyperlinks here to tutorials and Support Center. And I would recommend to any new user when you get your software that you carefully study, unless of course you're familiar with the software, but if you're not, and it's the first time for you, check these resources out. They're right built into the software, and they're designed to help you get done what you bought the software to do. I'm going to minimize that. Let's look at this View Online Training Videos. Left click on that. Okay. Takes you to the same page. That's fine. So that's all one hyperlink to that page there. Now let's just, I don't know what this is. We'll just open it up. Okay, it's a sample plan. Let's say I'm going to select a wall there and then hit the F1 key. That's the F1 key on your keyboard. And you'll see that instantly the help files pop up. And because I selected a wall, it takes you right to the wall section. Here's a hyperlink to the training views about walls. Let's just click on that. And okay, let's talk about this a little bit. This video page here. You can search it by content and also select a product. Like I'm using Essentials. Let's select Essentials, and then these videos come up. This may seem a little complicated. P stands for Pro, A for Architectural, S for Suite, E for Essentials. That's what I have open. Interiors, and Landscape and Deck Designer. So if there's not a dot here, then this video here, Home Designer Overview, doesn't apply to interiors or landscape. It applies to these where the dots are. Just kind of orient you to this interface. Okay, and that's just all of them. Let's see, I clicked on walls. I'll put wall in there and hit search, see what we get. Okay, and then placing, selecting, and editing objects, walls, exterior. And these videos are really well made, better than the videos I make, because they're all rehearsed and scripted and so forth. And but they're also very general. The whole purpose of these videos is just to introduce you to the features. Like there's a guy asking today about he can't make any terrain. Well, you should look at these videos on terrain, and they'll introduce you to the fundamentals of using those tools. And you got to watch a video and then open your software. Yeah, let me minimize that. Open the software. Let me close that. And well, let's just make a new plan. Go File, New. I don't care about, this isn't a tutorial about style templates, but you should, if you can, style templates offer you additional choices, especially in the less expensive software, but they also introduce limitations, and you should study those in the reference manual. Okay. All right, I'm going to skip this. This tutorial isn't about printing size, so I'm just going to say don't show me that again. Now, like terrain, create terrain perimeter. You'd have to know that that command is there under the terrain drop-down menu in order to create a terrain. We'll take a look at it. It's just flat as a piece of paper right now. Just a terrain. I'm left-clicking and dragging in the camera mode to spin that around. And every object in the software, you select it. And whenever you select something, the Edit Toolbar pops up. Now, it's normally docked over here. That's docked. This is undocked. If you never undocked it, you'd never know it was the Edit Toolbar, but that's what it's called. And whenever you select something, these command icons in here are germane or can be used on the selected object. Like I can delete it, and now there's no terrain plane. I'll make another one. And I can open its dialog box. something else, maybe you might have missed it, but I put my cursor in, it says Open Object, Control E. I can click on that, and then on my keyboard I'm going to hit Control E, and it opens the dialog box for this selected object. And again, I'm not going to, this isn't an attempt to explain everything under the sun, moon, and stars, but just kind of introduce new people to this. I can use the copy paste command, make another copy. Now the software doesn't allow two terrain planes in a plan, so that's the reason nothing happened. But some of the commands are there, but like copy and paste, it's going to do the same things. It can't be copied. So, most objects can be copied, things like terrain plane can't. And then I already showed you the delete command, accurate move. These are all explained in the reference manual. Now, again, I've got this terrain plane selected. I'm going to hit the F1 key again, and you'll notice that it opens to this section here, Editing Closed Polyline. See, a terrain plane is a closed polyline. A polyline is just two or more lines connected. In this case, the way they program this software, 4 closed lines, 3 or 4, to create a closed. They're all connected, and so they create a space. Those are the ones that you can, they'll have a dialog box, and you can do something with. Now, don't let that arbitrary statement put you off. We'll go over to CAD, and I'm going to put an arrow here. Even this arrow has the dialog box. So most objects in this software have a dialog box, and there's various things that you can do to control or change. Like the arrow type here, we can change the arrow type to this type. I can make it a great big arrowhead. We'll make it 25 inches. See, big arrow. So ways to get things done are in the dialog boxes of objects. And this is all things that you need to learn. Let's go over here to the Help menu. And there's some useful commands here. Again, this if I left click on this one, it'll open a browser and take you to that video page. And we'll go back to the Help menu here and download program upgrades. Again, this opens your default browser. In my case, it's Chrome. And right now there's no updates available for Essentials. I'm going to close some of these tabs that I opened earlier. Okay. So you get the idea. There's a lot of help built into the software. View User's Guide. Left click on that, opens a browser, and opens a PDF, Adobe PDF document. And this is searchable. See this little gadget here? You can left click on it. Whoops, wrong one. There we go. And then type in, and it'll take you all the pages that mention walls, drawing walls. And the way to study this software, let's get over here where there's something actually to study. Okay, you can see how it works. It highlights the word walls because that's what I searched for. You can read this section here and then minimize this, and then go to your wall tools and draw a wall. Left click drag, left click drag, left click drag, left click drag. And now that I've created a programmable space, it's kind of like the polylines here. They're all closed. In this case, I closed 4 walls, and then that gives it a dialog box, the room specification dialog box, which you can give it a name, and you should study what these names mean. They're not just names. They're actually programming commands for this enclosed space. We'll call it deck. And zoom in here, and you see that it's named deck. And when you name a room a deck, it gives it a particular kind of structure. And if I change the name, it also changes the character of the room. Well, let's look at this in a camera view before I move on. A deck's going to have a wood floor on it of planks there. And if I rename this from deck to court, it's going to give it a concrete floor. See, now it's got a concrete floor because I named it court. If If I open it and name it living room, it'll probably have carpet or hardwood. I don't remember exactly which. I think that's carpet. This tool here, adjust material definition, sometimes if you want to know what a material is, yeah, it's color bone. And I'll open it again, change the name to, excuse me, bathroom. We'll change it to bathroom. Oops, not bedroom, bath. Should have a tile floor now. Well, it looks like it's bone still. Yeah, it's still bone. Let me refresh the camera. I'm getting some, oh, okay, that bone is the ceiling. Here's another tool that, oh, never mind, Essentials doesn't have that tool. Let's use a floor camera, a full, let's see, okay, in Essentials it's just called camera. You left click to establish a point of view and then drag in the direction you want to look and then release the mouse. Yeah, okay, there's a tile because I named it bath. It has tile. Let's name it living room. Bingo, different floor type and so forth. Now the ceiling height is also controlled a couple of places. Like out of the box, the default is right there. Finished ceiling is 107 5/8 inches, and it's 107 5/8 because we put 7/8 of hardwood on the structural platform, and there's 5/8 of sheetrock on the ceiling, hanging off the ceiling joist, so that the rough ceiling, that's just 7/8 of an inch below the floor, and 5/8 of an inch above the ceiling. That's the actual structural ceiling height, and this is after you put the finished floor and the finished ceiling in, this is what you end up with. That's how that's put together, because that's how it works in the real world. Now you can change these values to fit how you normally build, but most ceilings in the United States are going to have 5/8 sheetrock on it, and of course this value here wouldn't be germane to, like, if you're going to have a tile floor, it's going to be a different thickness. You're going to have some thin set, that's a kind of a mortar on the floor, and an adhesive, and then the tile thickness, and so you can alter these values depending on how you're actually going to build. But just kind of introduce you to this, how this is programmed and how it works. Like, you can open a dialog box here, and I can go to the Structure tab and change the ceiling height. I can uncheck ceiling, and let's say I want 96-inch finished ceiling. You'll see that it adds, based on the floor finish and the ceiling finish, that gives it a rough ceiling of 97.5 to end up with measuring tape from the finished floor to the finished ceiling at 96. I don't know if you noticed it, but the ceiling dropped down. Now, ideally, you go to first default settings and set up all your defaults the way you want. The style of cabinet, the height, the type of see these material settings over here on the materials tab of base cabinet defaults. There's a default setting area for full height cabinets and also for wall cabinets and so forth. And if you'll go through these and set them up, then the software is kind of working for you. Like, let's look over here at floor. See, it's still set to the out of the box default of 107, and I told it over here in this dialog box to be 96, and by unchecking default, if I was to go over to edit default settings and floor and set this to 96 like I did in that room dialog box, let's set it to 95 and click done, and then open it up in here, and it still is 96 because I unchecked default. And if I check default, see, it responds to that global default that's set in edit default settings. So if you take the time to really learn the settings and learn how the software is programmed, then it's a wonderful tool that'll aid you in your creativity. But if you don't learn it, then it always seems like a kind of an annoying opponent that seems to be working against you. And it's certainly something that I experienced when I first learned, but I also learned over the years that the better way to operate with this is just if you don't understand something, look it up. Like I'll select that room there and I'll hit the F1 key. And selecting rooms. I selected a room and then I hit the F1 key and I got the section on selecting rooms. This is also searchable. See the search? You can type in a word like cabinet and then hit the list topics, placing cabinet, adding cabinets, placing, special cabinets. So all these things are relative to what I search for. And it's all built into the software. And this is the first place you should look. The forum is when you get stumped. I often hear the statement of, oh, I've tried everything and I can't do blah, blah, blah. Well, you haven't tried everything. If you tried everything, you wouldn't be posting on the forum. Now, I'm not trying to make anybody wrong, but the whole point of this video is that there's tons of resources built into this software. If you want to print PDFs, there's a link to a PDF printer, and there's a lot of support built into the software. One last thing, we'll go to Help, View Reference Manual. Now the help files, when you hit F1, are built into the software. This View Reference Manual, again, is a hyperlink to a web page that'll load the PDF file, and this is a big PDF file. It contains all the information necessary to study all of the tools built into your software. And you can, once this finishes loading, I'll show you something that may be useful to you. Some of you, this may appeal to you. I need to get a faster internet connection. I'll wait till it finishes loading. There we go. Okay. Once it's loaded, yeah, right here, see this icon here, save a copy. If you don't want to go to on the web every time, you can just click here, and then it'll open this dialog here, and I want to save a copy of it to my desktop. That's the name of it, of the file, Home Designer Essentials 2014 Reference Manual.pdf. And you can use this web interface, which is what I commonly do, but if you want to have it on your desktop, there's the reference manual right there. It's 4 megabytes. And it'll just open in Adobe Reader, which is a free download from Adobe. And it's the same thing. So you don't have to have it just on the web. You can download it to your desktop. You can print it out on paper. It's a lot of paper and ink, but I don't remember how many pages for Essentials it is, but it's quite a lot of material. Let's see, 424 pages, there it is. But I just wanted to introduce you to some of the basics of Chief Architect Incorporated software and the vast Library of Congress-like support that's built into it. And like Home Talk, it's perfectly okay to pose questions there, but I just wanted to point out that there's a lot of self-help that's just built into the software. And thanks for watching. I hope this helps some new people. Good day.